The playoff of the Champions League draw is out. Guys, oh my god. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And yeah, the playoff draws for the Champions League is officially out, and there are some quite interesting fixtures. You see this Champions League that they are playing now, yeah? You will keep seeing a lot of big teams keep facing each other, and that is exactly what is going to keep happening if they continue with this new system of the Champions League. And I must definitely say that it has been quite interesting just seeing the likes of PSG and Newcastle face each other, and it's a real tough game for either side to win, especially looking at the fact that even Newcastle, who are coming into the Champions League, I can literally say that them coming back into the Champions League in the last 2 years, it's quite interesting to see how much of a growth that they've had. But then again, you see the likes of Real Madrid, as I said, missing out from automatic qualification to the round of 16. It just goes to show you how big the Champions League keeps getting. Now let's just go straight into the results of the draw and teams that will be facing off each other. Now let me just start off with Benfica Real Madrid. Hey Jesus, you see this game, the fact that it's going to be home and away for both sides is going to be quite interesting, because don't forget that Real Madrid faced Benfica in their final league phase game, and Benfica won. Yes, Benfica played at home. They won the game 4-2. And even Real Madrid were down to 9 men in that match. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens in the first leg, because as it seems, Benfica is going to be playing the first leg at home, and then they head over to Bernabeu for the second leg. It's going to be really interesting, and I think it's going to be really tough for Real Madrid to edge Benfica in this two-way game. But it's really going to be difficult. And looking at the way Real Madrid have been playing of late, is going to be quite disappointing to see that they don't get to the round of 16 as 15-time champions. Is going to be quite disappointing. But the good thing probably for before the playoff starts is the fact that there would have been a lot of other games, and that would have measured how good or how bad they are at that moment, because the playoffs are supposed to kick off I think between 13th and 14th of February. So that will probably give them about 2 weeks, right? About 2 weeks to look at how things are, and if they have to improve on some things and all that. But I think it's enough time for the teams to prepare. But as I said, this game is going to be really interesting to see who edges it to play in the round of 16. And then the next game will obviously be Bodo Glimt and against Inter. Now I must say that I'm really quite impressed with what Bodo Glimt have done this season in the Champions League. And this is not even just this season. I think it has been coming from about 2 seasons ago, even when they had the group stages and all that. We've seen them do really well, and seeing them now competing to play in the playoffs, it's a huge improvement from them. I must say I'm really impressed with what they've done, right? And then they'll be facing Inter. I feel like I don't know, when I look at Inter Milan, I feel like that confidence they had last season in the Champions League, I don't think they have it right now. I don't think they do. But regardless, I feel like they are still trying to take it one game at a time, which was exactly what they also did last season, because they took it one game at a time, which obviously led them to what? To the final. So definitely I must say that will be what they're looking at again this season. But the fact that they are playing this tricky Bodo Glimt side, don't forget that this team, they played Man City in their last game and they beat them. And even the final game, the way they won, it's quite interesting to see how Inter Milan is going to get over the line in this game. And the good thing for Bodo Glimt is they are playing at home. So most times like that, when you have two-way games like that, you want to play your first leg at home, right? And Bodo Glimt would, I think it would be a huge advantage for them, playing their first game at home. I just want to see how Inter is going to be able to handle that game. But yeah, definitely it's going to be another interesting game. And then Monaco against Paris Saint-Germain. Now, that's more like, how do I put it, like a French derby, right? Both teams are playing in the French League on. And when I look at Paris Saint-Germain, I must say that they will be really disappointed that they weren't able to just qualify to the round of 16, especially in that last game against Newcastle. But Newcastle played well, right? They played really, really well. But I want to believe that they would have a better time playing against Monaco. It would be a bit easier to play against Monaco. Now, Monaco is playing at home in the first game. And when they have the advantage, you definitely want to take it. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how Monaco handles the first game. Because trust me, by the time they'll be going back to Parc des Princes for the second leg, it's not going to be any easier. So definitely Monaco wants to get the result done and dusted in the first game, and then hope to see what happens in that second one, probably get a draw or get a win in their first game at home. But really, I feel like it's going to be really, really interesting to see how that game turns out. That's the Champions League for you. And then to the next game, we have Karabakh against Newcastle. Now, this Karabakh team, they are very weird. Really, really weird. I remember that Chelsea played them and it was a 2-2 draw. In fact, it was at Stamford Bridge and they played so well. So I won't even say that I'm surprised that they were able to sneak into the playoff rounds. I'm not, because they put up some very, very good performance. They have. However, Newcastle will be traveling to Karabakh for the first leg. And Karabakh playing at home, they are not an easy team. Let me say that. They are not. However, Newcastle, on the other hand, they've actually also not done badly, especially in the Champions League, in the league phase. And when I look at them, I feel like they're a team that has been rocked by injuries mostly. And I feel like Eddie Howe even getting them to play in the playoffs is a testament to how good of a coach he is, and even the other players that are playing, of how determined they are and committed they are to qualifying to the Champions League. They will feel disappointed, being the only Premier League side not qualifying automatically to the round of 16, because every other Premier League side have done that. And so, it's just the fact that they had to face the defending champions in the final game, and somehow they played even better than Paris Saint-Germain. They were just unlucky, because they also had chances and they didn't take them. So they will really, really feel disappointed with that one. And then Galatasaray will take on Juventus. Now, to be honest, I don't know what to expect really from this game. But I feel like the fact that Galatasaray are playing at home, playing in Turkey first leg, it's going to be a big one for Juventus to get over. It is going to be a big one, yes. And I see Galatasaray winning the first leg and maybe getting a draw in the second leg, except if Juventus are able to do it, get probably like maybe a 2-1, even if they lose the first leg. That second leg, they now know that they have to score a lot of goals, maybe try and win the game and then qualify to the round of 16. But that first leg is going to determine a lot of things, really. I feel like it's going to really, really determine a lot of things for Juventus in that game. And then the next game, we'll see Club Brugge take on Atletico Madrid. Now, should I say I've been quite impressed with Club Brugge? I feel like in this Champions League, they've shown themselves. They've really, really shown themselves. And sometimes some of these teams that you really think they won't do much, they'll come out and show you that, yes, don't underestimate us. Don't rule us out yet. And that is exactly what Club Brugge have done in this in the Champions League. And Atletico Madrid, for me, have been quite disappointed. You know, the loss to Arsenal in the manner they did, not good. The last game against Bodo Glimt, not good. And so, yeah, and the fact that they were even playing at home in that last game against Bodo Glimt, they were go up and then losing that game, I think 2-1 or 3-1. Come on, they need to do better. However, I feel like if Atletico Madrid is able to get a point at least in Club Brugge home, there's a chance that the second leg at the Metropolitano might be in Atletico's favor. So they would want to at least get away with a draw in the first leg and then see what happens in the second leg. But just from what happened in the last game, it just goes to show you that if you are a team that goes to Metropolitano with the intention of getting 3 points and you get the job done, you can literally go with that 3 points. So yeah, Club Brugge, as I said, they are not an easy team. They will give you stress, right? But Atletico Madrid has to play better than what they did in that last game. And then Borussia Dortmund will take on Atalanta. Now, Atalanta, for me, I felt like the only game in the league phase where I felt like I must say that I was quite impressed with the result was that game against Chelsea, where they won 3-1, I think. Yeah. Every other game, I felt like they had struggled. Yes, they had some of their players out with injury. They had some players, yellow cards and all that affect them also a little bit. But I must say that their performances exactly have not been really good. Borussia Dortmund also, on the other hand, losing to Tottenham. I'm trying to remember what other team they also lost to. You know, some of the results that they had in that league phase were quite disappointing. In fact, I must say it's same for both sides. They didn't really play up to expectation, and it's going to be interesting to see who wins this playoff, honestly, because I think the first leg is going to end in a draw. The fact that Borussia Dortmund are playing at home and then Atalanta, they might even need penalties to decide who eventually goes to the round of 16, because there's not much exciting about these two teams, honestly. I don't think so. So whatever happens, it will just be maybe one side was just better than the other that qualifies to the round of 16. Aside from that, there's nothing much that excites me about this game. And then Olympiacos will take on Leverkusen. Now, Leverkusen have had a up and down season. I think in the first few games, they struggled a little bit to get results, and obviously that was not even just in the Champions League, also in the Bundesliga. They struggled, but eventually, you know, coming in with a new coach, things a bit stabilized for them, and I felt like them finishing in the playoffs was deserved, because subsequent games after they picked up results, played better. But then again, I felt like in that last game, they just didn't play very well. They did not. So it's quite interesting to see how they are going to do, because they are going all the way to face Olympiacos first in the first leg. And Olympiacos I would say they have been the surprise maybe so far of the season. I won't say surprise like that, because when it comes to the Champions League and Olympiacos have played in a few, they've just always given maybe some big teams problems. They make it difficult for them to play their game. And so that alone just always makes the opponents find it difficult to get results, especially when Olympiacos are playing at home. But if Leverkusen able to get over the line against them in that first leg, get the 3 points, get the 3 points. I wouldn't say getting a point, because that chance will still be for Olympiacos. So getting that 3 points for Bayer Leverkusen away from home in the first leg can help them, you know, into the second leg. Now, those are the playoff games that I feel like are going to be really quite interesting to see. Now, before I go any further in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, subscribe to the channel. As I would always say, you guys are amazing. The family, the tribe keeps increasing, and it's amazing to have you guys follow me on this journey. So please keep subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to share with your friends, colleagues, family members, enemies, in fact, right? Please share with them, and yeah, please subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to put on your post notification button to get our latest video when they drop, and sure to follow us on all our social media platforms at _official FSH. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the games, and yeah, until the playoffs are concluded, which will come off, as I said, in the middle of February. Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for some of these teams in their respective leagues. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye bye.